Welcome to Comparative Media, CMST 410 and CMST 510, a combined undergraduate class and graduate class. My name is Rob McKenzie, and I'm the professor for this class, and I'm standing here in my house in Mexico. Yeah, I'm in Mexico, and I'm going to be teaching this course from Mexico. And one of the things that I want to do right off the bat is show you how media are different around the world. You probably know that if you've been on any trips. You can see Netflix here, and you can see that the top trending TV shows are not the same shows that we would see in the United States. For example, this one, Luis Miguel, the series, that's Spanish. It's telling us up here what the number one shows are in Mexico. It's interesting, is it not, that theoretically we should be able to see any TV show that we want to as long as it's on Netflix, wherever we are. Doesn't matter what country, but that's not the case. It's not the case. Mexico does not have all the rights and privileges for showing Netflix shows that the US does. So why is that? Well, that's what we're going to be talking about in this class. That's what this class is all about, comparative media. And in this particular case, Netflix's business model does not allow for it to have copyright clearances for all of its shows in all of the countries. Those have to be negotiated separately, those copyright clearances, permission to air a show in another country. So it's one of the blockages that we'll be studying in this class called comparative media. And before you think, oh, it must be nice to have a house in Mexico, I just want to let you know, my wife and I, 13 years ago, we decided to remortgage our Pennsylvania house. That means take out a whole new loan to buy our Mexico house. And that's how we were able to afford it. It's not like we had cash sitting around. And I've been traveling to countries for most of my life. My parents are British. And so I got a chance to go over to the United Kingdom for several summers in a row and use that as my home base, and then go all over Europe and study countries. And in my travels, I started to look at media, and I started to notice how differences in media were greater than I had previously thought. And so I became very interested in the subject of comparative media, and that's why I'm teaching this course. And so in this instructor video, we're going to talk about the syllabus. We're going to then set up what the assignments are for the course, and then we're going to finish off the instructor video. So we're going to take on the syllabus. If you have that syllabus handy, it's on your D2L, if you could bring it up. And we're going to go through it, and we're not going to cover every detail because you can read some of it on your own, but we're going to get across the basic mechanics of the class. And so we'll start at the top. This is a combined class. We have 5 undergraduate students and 7 graduate students. And so there are going to be different sets of requirements for both of those two groups of students, but we're all going to learn from each other in this class, comparative media. You know, I designed this class many years ago, and I've taught it in many countries, in fact, including Mexico and China and Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic and France and England and Sweden. Yeah, I've taught this class in a lot of places. This one's online because we're still in the pandemic, but I'm just sort of sneaking in here some of my background experiences so that you'll be able to see where I'm coming from when I talk about countries. And the book that we're going to read for this class is listed for you right there. It's called World Entertainment Media, Global, Regional, and Local Perspectives by Paolo Sigismondi. Sigismondi, tough name to say, at least for me. And I have to think that name Mondi has the root word mond, which is world, in it. And I think it's interesting how the author would have a last name that has word in it. So this is my first time using this book. Actually, for years, we used the book that I wrote for the class called Comparing Media from Around the World. But that book went out of date, and the publisher was not interested in a revised version, a second edition, so to speak. And that book took me all over the world to 6 different countries. And so it set up my interest in teaching this course from the vantage point of firsthand information in other countries, and it eventually led me to select this book, World Entertainment Media. It is a completely revamped course, I just want to let you know. So there may be some mistakes on the syllabus, there may be some mistakes on D2L in terms of the grade weights and other things that are still on there from the last time I taught the class. So please be patient as I go through and make revisions as necessary. So this is a D2L course. It's taken online, and basically the routine of the course is every day that the class is taught, Monday through Friday for the next 3 weeks, you have to log on by 1 o'clock is when everything will be available, 1 p.m. in the afternoon, and then you have 24 hours to complete your assignments. So you have 24 hours. You can do them at 1 o'clock in the morning. You can do it at 3 in the afternoon, the assignments for this class. It's really built to be customized for your working schedule or your recreation schedule this summer. All right, there are some course outcomes that I have for you in this class. We're continuing on with the syllabus, and so I have 4 of them. I want you to be able to experience media content from other countries. We already did that real quick by looking at a Netflix homepage. I want you to be able to identify and analyze elements of a media system. I want you to identify and synthesize cultural assumptions leading to the creation of media content. And I want you to be able to analyze and synthesize issues of media fairness, especially when it comes to news reporting, media fairness when it's in the context of globalization. All of those ideas we're going to unpack if you have no idea what I'm talking about at this moment, but those are the overall course goals. We also have some departmental outcomes. I'm not going to read those. You can check those out on your own. Basically, those outcomes are true for no matter what course you take in our major. If it's a communication course, we want to be getting across those outcomes. All right, if anybody needs special accommodations, particularly for the assignment deadlines, just please let me know. You will need to supply documentation from the Office of OASIS if you need special accommodations. Be only too glad to help you. All right, next up is email etiquette. I do have an email etiquette policy. When you email, not just me, but any professor, you should always have a salutation. You should always have a greetings, a hello, a doctor, or use a person's name. You never start off an email like a cell phone text message with, "What's up?" That's not the way that I try to communicate to my students that they should be handling email, which is a much more formal medium. So please follow my etiquette policy. Similarly, I have a plagiarism policy. You should all know about this already because you're seniors or you're graduate students, but all work in this class must be your own. You can't be copying and pasting from the web without proper citation. And if there is plagiarism, which unfortunately happens in the online world, I'll just send the case right over to the Office of Student Conduct and they'll hold a hearing and determine if plagiarism took place. So don't get yourself in that kind of a situation. All right, now we're going to get to the course requirements, starting with course requirements for undergraduates. Course requirements for undergraduates are, first of all, there's going to be an instructor video every single day. Today there are 2 videos because I'm doing the syllabus and I'm also doing the first chapter. But every day that video will be posted by 1 o'clock. And then you're going to watch that video. It's going to range from 20 to 30 minutes will be the average of each video. And then you'll head on to the other assignments in the class. And those include the following. You're going to be making what are called country media response posts. Country media response posts. And basically the way that this course is going to work is you're going to be choosing a country that you're going to study all semester long in terms of its media system. You're going to actually be posting the country that you select on D2L. You can do it right now if you want. There's a place for you to do that. Everybody needs to select a country, and you're going to be studying that country's media system all semester long, all 3 weeks long. And so for each chapter that we read in the book, for each chapter, you're going to take concepts that were discussed in that chapter, even though those concepts may be dealing with one particular country. For example, we have a whole chapter on China. We have a whole chapter on Mexico. You're going to take the concepts in the readings for that day, and you're going to apply them to some sample of media content in the country that you're studying. So if you're studying Italy, for example, and we're looking at some concepts that have to do with entertainment as a global medium, then maybe you're going to look at Italian films. You're going to choose an Italian film, and you're going to talk about how the content that we studied in the text for that day relates to the film from Italy that you've selected. You're going to do that through the whole semester. You're going to have 15 times you're doing that, right? Or 14 times because that's how many classes we have left. And that's what country media response posts are. The guidelines are on D2L, so you can see in detail what your response should consist of and also how long it should be. All of that is on D2L. You're going to be making 12 posts throughout the semester, and each one is worth 5 points for a total of 60 points. You have 100 points total for undergraduates, so 60 or more than half are coming from these country media response posts. And then next up, you're going to be doing critiques of graduate student video presentations. You'll do 3 critiques. We are going to have 7 presentations by graduate students in this class. So I'm going to divide them up equally so that each grad student does get their work critiqued. And in the end, each undergraduate student is going to critique 3 of those presentations. In the presentations, a graduate student is going to be explaining the findings of a research article that they have uncovered. That's what makes a graduate student, right? They're conducting original research. To some extent, that's true for undergraduates too, but grad students are going to be making video presentations on research articles, and then undergraduates are going to be critiquing them, and that'll provide graduate students with feedback on their work too. There's another reason that I do that other than just mutual learning. All right, another assignment you have for this class is the research paper proposal. You have a research paper, and you have a research paper proposal. And the proposal is designed to help you get off to a good start. I'm going to be giving you feedback on your proposal so that you go forward with a study that's doable and that's well focused. And so the proposal is worth 5 points, and then the research paper is worth 20 points. And in that paper, what you're going to do is you're going to compare the media in your country from media in another student's country who's been studying media in that country all semester long. More about that when we get to that later on in the course. All right, let's turn to graduate students now. Graduate students have a similar requirement for the instructor videos. They'll be posted every day by 1 o'clock, so you'll be watching those on D2L. And then you're going to have country media response posts just like undergraduates. Of course, I'm going to be expecting a higher degree of analysis and synthesis and conclusions and opinion making and really just a more sophisticated thought process from graduate students for the country media posts. Once again, you have them 12 posts at 5 points each for a total of 60 points. However, graduate students do have a total of 130 points for this class. I usually try to get my points to be exactly 100, but when you have a 2-set class, so to speak, with 2 audiences, it's much more complicated to come up with the grade weight. So I've got 130 points for grad students. And the next item that will be making up these points is the student selected research article evaluation. I just alluded to those a moment ago when I talked about undergraduates. You'll be doing 3 of these, and they're going to be worth 5 points. So you're going to be coming up with 3 research articles this semester, only one of which you're going to make a video presentation on. So that's the next item on here, the video presentation, 10 points. Both of these assignments, student-selected research article evaluations and video presentation, I don't have the guidelines posted yet on D2L, but I will be posting them, and you'll be able to see exactly what is required of you in each of these 2 categories, student-selected research article evaluations and video presentation. All right, next up is similar to the undergraduates. You have a research paper proposal that's worth 5 points, but your research paper, graduate students, is 40 points. 40 points, it's a big chunk, right? We really want you to flex your proficiencies at research. That's why you're in our graduate program, presumably. All right, that just leaves us now with looking at the tentative schedule of events section. So you can see I've got the whole course outlined there. We may be making some changes. Like I said, I rebuilt this class from scratch, basically. So, but you can see where we're headed in these next 3 weeks, and things move very quickly in a 3-week class. I hope you're prepared each and every day to be able to dig into this material. You can get out of the game real quick if you miss a couple days because a friend blows into town, you spend a couple days with them and camping or whatever, and you don't do the course. You can lose a lot of points real quick. So you got to stay up on what's required of you in this class on a daily basis. And so for today, you can see that what the next thing that we're going to talk about is you're going to have an assignment that's due tomorrow, and it's going to be due tomorrow by 1 o'clock, right? Everything is always due by 1 o'clock on D2L. It's going to go under the discussions link. And what I want you to do is I want you to post a video of introducing yourself, a 2-minute video. That ideally is the length. And that video is going to help us as a class come together, even though we're all online in different places. We're operating asynchronously online, but we want to try and bring the class together, get to know each other in some ways. And so that's what the video is all about. The guidelines for what to put in your video are on D2L. So that's due by tomorrow, a 2-minute video. And I'm also going to do an introduction video, and mine will be there as well. And then we're going to come back in the next day and we're going to respond in just a 1-sentence response. What's your impression of this person? All right, so that's one assignment that's due tomorrow. Secondly, I want you to read my curriculum vitae. A curriculum vitae is a fancy word for resume in the academic context. And I want you to read that so that you know that my credentials, and ask me a question. I'd like you to ask me a question about my curriculum vitae. So there's a place for you to do that on D2L under discussions, and also my curriculum vitae is posted under the content tab. So that's the second thing that you have to do today. And that includes posting a question for me, right? And then the third thing that you have to do, I'm reading right from the syllabus now, is to sign up for a country that you want to study all semester long. I would advise you to choose a country that you are pretty sure you're going to be able to regularly get media from. And that's going to be online, right? Unless you're going to travel to Lebanon and pick up a newspaper or listen to a radio show and record it and bring it back. You're going to be getting to that country's media through online means, through your phone and through your laptop. So choose a country. No two people can have the same country. Okay, so if you see a country already on there that you wanted, if you really wanted Italy and somebody's chosen it, it's too bad. You're going to have to choose another country. You have to do that by 1 o'clock tomorrow. And then also for your final assignment today, there's a lot happening the first day, is I want you to read chapter 1. I'm going to be covering it in a separate video, but you should have read that chapter to get caught up in the class. And then for next class, we'll be reading chapter 2, and that's what your assignments are going to be based on starting tomorrow. We're not starting any of the country media response posts yet because the countries haven't been selected, right? So that's coming up. So those are all of the things that are due for today. I hope that you have a great time in this course. I really look forward to examining and interpreting and mulling over your work in comparative media. Have a great day.